everybody. Thank you so much for being so awesome and like welcoming and stuff like that for my booktube and authortube videos. Like seriously, you guys are like really awesome. You're really friendly and I feel I feel great. I feel awesome. So, I'm feeling actually kind of like shit. I know I'm like overblown, but the some days you just want to feel pretty. And that's what I did today. So, we're gonna do my first TBR book haul thing because I just bought a bunch of audiobooks because things were on sale and stuff like that. So, here we go. And this one's gonna be like a lot longer because I finally like charged my Kindle, which it used to be, it was my book of books and it used to be awesome, but where did it go? The last of my spine just fell off today, so I'm really sad. I need to get a new cover. But yeah, I finally charged it and I didn't realize just how many books I had bought and saved up and hadn't read yet. So here we go. So I will that way. Somebody who said that they liked, oh wait, no, this way. The Hearthstone, so we'll showcase the stone. So everything will be up here because I don't have physical copies. I think I've mentioned this before that my lifestyle in more recent years has been very hectic. I have moved internationally twice, actually three times if you want to. I moved back to the United States for a few months and then came back. So I don't actually own physical books anymore. Look, books are heavy and that's a lot of shipping, and I have 300 books in here and this is easy. I have a list because I can't do anything without lists, so here we go. First is The King's Traitor, which I did actually start, and it was interesting. I liked it. It's kind of medieval, but I guess it is technically, it falls under fantasy. I don't think there's magic yet, but there's motions towards magic, so we'll have to see about that. The Left Hand of Darkness, because I've never actually read any of Ursula Le Guin, and I've heard that The Left Hand of Darkness is quite good. It has inspired a bunch of my friends personally, so I felt like I could do that. Dragon of Ash and Stars, I have no idea. I also have 3 of these Romulus Buckle books, which I think may have been like on sale at some point, so I'm just like, here, take it all, because they're all steampunk. And I've never read any steampunk type things, so I'm interested to see that. The Art of Asking, which is by one of my favorite people in the entire world, Amanda Palmer. I hear that she's writing or in the process of writing another book, so I feel like I should do The Art of Asking before I get to the other one. Grief is a Thing with Feathers, which I also started and I just didn't finish because I was doing my master's program. If you haven't heard of this book, because I hadn't, it's a novella. It's very short. I think it falls under the category of magical realism, and it's about a family. I believe it's 2 boys and a father, and they've just lost the mother. There is this thing, which is they sort of describe it as a crow, I think. I'm sorry, it's been a while. And it keeps haunting them. It's essentially their grief and the father trying to connect and take care of his boys, but also trying to deal with the fact that his wife has just died. It's done in a really interesting way. The style...
1 hour later.
The Handmaid's Tale, I started it before I started watching the Hulu special. It was so heavy, and I'm like, I'm reading this on the bus on my way to classes, and I couldn't handle it. I didn't want to cry in public. Honestly, I only got through like the first 50 pages of The Handmaid's Tale before I had to put it down, and I haven't had the courage to bring it back up, so I need to do that. I did watch the first season, which again, I did it in a public place. I didn't expect it to be quite so heart-wrenching, especially at the end. I had an 11-hour flight, which meant that I could watch all 10 episodes during that flight. That was not a good idea. Never ever, if you haven't watched it yet, don't do that. Like, take your time to digest it. I was a wreck by the end, and I had to be like happy and wonderful to see my parents again. I have to read this book because I feel like I have to read this book. It's called The Lie Tree. I read like the first 3 pages, and I wanted to put it down. There were certain things about the writing itself that I was very unhappy with at the time. I think I was just being really harsh on it, so I'm gonna pick it up again. I have a few of these books that I like. I honestly I don't know what they're about, but I guess I liked the cover or I liked the synopsis. So here we go. She Who Remembers. The Museum of Extraordinary Things, which I think is a circusy magical thing. I remember sort of something. After I read The Night Circus, this was suggested to me, so I think maybe it's along that category. The Paper Magician, which again, I started like half of these and I put them down for whatever reason. I think maybe to like read other things that I had to read for my master's program, so there we go. I need to finish The Paper Magician. The Watchmaker of Filigree Street. Again, no idea what it's about, but I think it was along those lines. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe, which I read the beginning and haven't picked up again. The Nightfall Gardens. No idea what that's about. Beyond Good and Evil, which is Kafka, I think. No, Kafka or Nietzsche. Anyway, it's nihilist stuff. So I'm not looking forward to this, but I feel like I need to for like a deep digest of my soul. Good Omens. Again, I started it, I put it down, I haven't gotten it back up. At Night We Walk in Circles. I remember having this keep popping up on my Kindle. The advertisement kept popping up, and I was like, this sounds so interesting. I don't remember what it's about, but we're gonna find out. This one is kind of interesting because it's not a fiction. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like information about the lore of this thing, and that is Among the Mermaids. And the reason why I picked this up, and this was like, honestly, it's probably been about 5 years now, was because I was writing a short story about mermaid society, not Little Mermaid mermaid society. It's like, we are going to drown all the sailors kind of mermaid society. My professor at the time had said, I think that you're onto something, but this is not a short story, this is a novel. So coming soon. Yeah, I decided that I needed to learn more about mermaids traditionally and so on and so forth. The Bird Eater, which I believe is horror. And this is one of I'm really excited for. I read the sample that I got and then I'm like, no, buying it now. And never picked it up. The Immortal Circus. Again, one of those Kindle suggested it to me. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? Born of Illusion, same deal. Bible Repairman. Tim Powers. I was listening to these 3 podcasts that are all sisters of each other. There's Pseudopod, Podcastle, and I can't Escape Pod. It's horror, fantasy, and sci-fi, respectively. They're short stories. I used to do my little cardio exercises while listening to them. That's how I got to know Tim Powers. I heard that he had released a book called The Bible Repairman, and I picked it up. I haven't read it yet. I don't have it actually on my Kindle, but my sister is going to be sending this to me for Christmas, and that is I Am China. I don't know what it's about. The guy who was head of our department at UCR, he used to get a bunch of ARC's advanced reader copies for his job and beyond this, because I think he was a reviewer for, was it a newspaper? I can't remember at the moment off the top of my head, but he used to get a crap ton of books, and he's like, I can't get through all of these. He gets hundreds of books per month, and he just can't get to them. So either ones that he didn't read or arcs from 10 years ago that he's just been hoarding. He used to just bring this gigantic bin and leave it for us in the writing department, and anyone could pick it up. And I believe that I Am China was one of those. Now, to get to audiobooks, which I need to bring this up because I actually just bought a bunch of them last night. So right now I'm reading or listening to The Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, and I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I know a little bit about what happens, and everyone just keeps saying that they have such a book hangover from everything that happens, and I know there's only 2 of them, and there's no more. I can't handle it. So this is a 17-hour book or thereabouts. I'm taking this in slow chunks so I don't die by the end of this month. I just got The Anansi Voice by Neil Gaiman, Becoming, and then Michelle Obama, because apparently she did the audiobook for Becoming, and I'm like, why not? I would like to listen to almost 20 hours of Michelle Obama talking to me, sure. My husband is actually out of the country at the moment, and I told him last night, I'm like, I'm getting this. He's like, what is it? What is it? And it's A Christmas Carol. He's like, well, why is that? Like, who cares? It's A Christmas Carol. No. It is narrated by Tim Curry. Do you understand? It is Tim Curry. I'm going to read that and possibly do a review on it later because it's only like 3.5 hours. There's an Audible original called Christmas Eve 1914 by Charles Oliver. Again, not really sure what it's about, but it was free. It's a little over an hour, and I assume Christmas Eve 1914 has something to do with World War I, which I do enjoy the World Wars, reading about them, reading about literature that has to do with them, so we'll see about that. I just got The Cruel Prince, The Hate You Give, The Diary of a Hounslow Girl, which is also an Audible original. The reason why I got this one in particular was because it's a Muslim girl talking about her life in London, and like I know where Hounslow is. Like I used to pass through there all the time, and like there was the Hounslow bus station. For me specifically, like I don't know because I haven't listened to it yet. I don't know if like a shared consciousness of an area that might take place there, but I'm very interested in getting it, and if you are, it's an Audible original. So we have The Christmas Hirelings? I don't know. I have, Sharp Objects, which I'm determined to read that or listen to that before I watch the television show because there's something that speaks to me about that cover and I'm about it. Nevernight, I think the first novel, I guess it's a series. I still need to listen to A Torch Against the Night. I have a bunch of novels that honestly I should have read in like high school, middle school, and I just haven't. So I have a bunch of those, like The Great Gatsby, The Hobbit, The Things They Carried, just things like that. I have Frankenstein and Dracula. I have Emma, which I'm actually going to be reading with a friend eventually one day, possibly over the Christmas break. Eventually, I will do a series where I re-evaluate things that I had never read and should have. Let's see. Oh, I have Twain's Feast, again, another Audible original, and also Stephen Fry's Victorian Secrets, which sounds amazing. I have never read The Hunger Games, and that's because there are feelings involved in how I was introduced to The Hunger Games, and now that I am almost 10 years removed from that situation, I feel like I can finally go back and do The Hunger Games. So we will do that series. I also, where'd you go? Come back. I got more books for Christmas, and they're not things that I normally read, but they were given to me by a friend because she's really into romance, and she's really into this particular author, or it's actually a husband and wife team, but they go by a pseudonym, and that is Magic Bites, there we are, and Magic Burns. So she bought me these copies, so now I feel incredibly obligated to actually read them. It's by Iona Andrews. I've been listening to the audiobooks for her another series, and we've been talking about those. It's 100% candy, and it's not my genre at all, but I've been enjoying them regardless. I think that's everything. I do have a few other things that, like, I know I own them, but again, I'm having my sister, for Christmas, my sister is mailing me books. So I'm going to probably add some more to that for my next TBR. I am going to do these monthly because Audible. And I get a free book every month, so there's going to be at least one extra for my TBR. I think I'm probably going to do my monthly wrap-up and TBR in the same video because that just seems more reasonable to me, just give you an update of where I am and keeps me honest and stuff like that. If you think that I should do them separately, then I guess leave a comment down below. Also, comment on what you like of the books that I have presented so far. Which one are you the most interested in? Because I don't know which one I'm gonna pick up first. Like I think I'm gonna be picking up these first because I have the physical copies and I miss books. I like as much as they are just not practical for my lifestyle anymore. I do miss them. But beyond these, like which ones do you think I should read first or listen to first? Because I have no preference. I don't know things. I will just randomly pick one up if nobody pushes me in a certain direction. So I guess that's it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!